Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I am in my Beehive studio this morning, and I'm just going to wait just a little bit to see who shows up for the live part. If you're watching this on YouTube, I am not live on YouTube, but you can fast forward about a minute into this video where I start to talk about my card and everything. Sometimes I do a little bit of a preamble that has little to do with my card, and I don't want you to feel like you have to stick around for that unless you want to. So this week is, it's a busy week coming up for the Quintana household. We have a graduation, high school graduation happening next week for our son. So this week I am gearing up for that. And we have the Stampin' Up catalog that starts next Tuesday on June 4th. So there's a lot of things happening. I hope to be here live next Tuesday for Casing Tuesday and for the start of the new catalog, but I'm not sure if I will be or not, and I hate to be loosey-goosey about that. I will be having house guests at that time, and there's a lot of stuff going on next week, so I have my card actually already designed, and I hope to be here, and if not, I will be a lot more available the following week because I've got company departing and my husband and son are going on a little trip, and so I've got a lot more stuff planned for the following week, but I'm really excited. My son's graduating next week, and this week is kind of wrap-up week. He has got a couple more days left of school, and then there's prom happening on Friday. There's just so much happening. I can't believe it. After he's 18 now, I can't believe that. Seems like just yesterday he was like little and my problems were small, and now everything is like just so much bigger, but it's all good. Anyway, I've blabbed for a little bit already, so let's talk about why I'm actually here to stamp. It is Casing Tuesday, and this is a thing that I've done for a couple of years now, and it is a makeover day. We take a card out of the catalog, out of the Stampin' Up catalog, and we designate it as the makeover card of the week. So everybody works on the same card each week. And then we have a Facebook group where everyone posts their cards. And the cool thing is, and there's already several samples posted up there today, they are all different. I don't think anyone has used the same stamp set, and so you can see this huge variety of cards that are based on this original card, and we've given it a makeover. It is such a great way for beginner stampers. It's a great thing for improving your stamping, and even if you are a veteran, I guess maybe I'm a veteran now that I've been stamping for over 15 years. It's a great way to get out of your comfort zone and try new styles, and that's what I love about it. And today's card, not that it's completely out of my style zone, but I probably wouldn't have designed it that way. I don't like to stamp images off the side of the card. I like to have them in the card. I don't tend to design cards where I have an image cut off, but it actually looks kind of cool, and I actually did cut off my image, and it is okay. And no crooked layers today, so that's good. But it is definitely good for all of us to get out of our comfort zone every once in a while. So I am going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to show you the card I made. And I actually am going to be making an alternate card today because I thought it would be cool to show you the versatility of the stamp set. And so we'll be doing an alternate card. I'll show you how I stamped the original card, and then I'll do an alternate at the same time, or whatever. I'll be doing it at some time. Okay, let's turn this camera around. Okay, there's my view this morning. It's threatening to rain today. We had such a beautiful weekend, and then it was a long weekend for us here in the U.S. It was Memorial Day weekend, and so it was just gorgeous. We went for a little hike yesterday. in the Blue Mountains, and it was just a nice up and down hike. It was very, very short, but I usually do a fairly flat walk every day, and yesterday we did, it was all uphill and then all downhill, so it was very nice though. Okay, so today's card, let me show you. We're casing a Christmas card. Isn't that funny? It is not even Christmas in July, but we're doing a Christmas card. But that's okay. We're casing it. We're making it over, so we don't have to make it into a Christmas card. So that's a good thing. Is this card right here. And this is what I meant about this image being kind of stamped off of the card. So it is a fairly simple card. You just need a big focal point. If you don't have... if you don't want to do a wreath, do whatever you want. You can do a big image, a floral, whatever. It's pretty open as to what you could do there. But I decided to do a wreath. I was inspired. I thought I would do a spring wreath. So this is my card. So from far away, if you kind of blur your eyes or don't focus too well, it looks very geometrical. But when you bring it close up, you can see there's little butterflies. So I created a wreath by repeat stamping a butterfly, and I just love this stamp set. Look at that beautiful greeting. Have a beautiful birthday. And isn't that a beautiful font? It is so gorgeous. This is the painted glass stamp set. It's actually part of a bundle, and this bundle is carrying over, but the stamp set and the frameless are carrying over. The bundle pricing is not carrying over. If you like this stamp set, this is called, these are called the stained glass thinlits, and this is the painted glass stamp set. So when you bring it together, it's called the painted glass bundle. When you buy them together, you save 10%. That bundle pricing is going away next week. June 3rd is the last day you can get this as a bundle, and then these two will now be separate items. So that's still good that you can get them separate, but if you do enjoy the project I have for you today, I actually only use the painted glass stamp set. I'll be trying to do some more projects with this later this week, just so you can see the combination of the two. Okay. All right, so let's create a version of this card. I'm going to first show you how I did the butterfly stamping, so you can see how I did that. So I took a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I took a circle from, let me see, no, I printed it off, but it got cut off. Let me grab my, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to measure it for you. That's what I'm going to do. So I cut a circle using the Layering Circles framelits, and unfortunately I didn't have a punch the exact right size that I needed, so I actually cut one. This circle from the Layering Circles framelits is 1 5/8. I think you could get away with anything. You could do maybe 1 1/2 as well. We do have a 1 1/2 inch circle punch, but I did 1 5/8 or a 1 3/4 inch circle. Either one of those would work. So you do need some sort of circle. If you don't have a circle, like a die cut, why don't you trace something that's circular in your house? You could do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to kind of have the circle. I want it centered from top to bottom, and it's going to be about 1/2 inch over from the right hand side. So I'm just going to trace this circle onto my Whisper White piece. And I'm sure there's a way you can do this with the Stamparatus as well, but probably if you're doing it with a Stamparatus, you probably would need more of a square piece of cardstock to make it easier rather than this rectangular piece. So I just kind of free stamped it. I don't mind free hand stamping. I'm pretty good at it, so it's not a big deal. This is the Night of Navy ink pad. And I'm going to use the butterfly from the Painted Glass stamp set. Now, I did a little trim around my butterfly stamp. This really will help with positioning, especially the bottom. You would want to trim off the bottom of the butterfly so that you can land it on that pencil circle. So I'm going to start off, just ink it up a Night of Navy. and I want to stamp it right at the top of my circle. I'm aiming it, I don't know if you can really see that well. It's very hard to see through the block anyway, but I'm basically aiming the edge of my butterfly, since I've cut the stamp flush, I'm aiming the edge of the butterfly to the pencil line. So it hits very, very close to the pencil line. So I'm going to do north on the compass point, then I flip it around and do south. This is the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, you will go bonkers trying to fill them in perfectly. So then you're going to do west. And then you're going to do east. And east is going to be coming off the page. So you might want to protect your work surface. East. All right, and then it's just a matter of filling in the spaces. So then you go over to the next space here. Let me do one that has 2 butterflies because that's easier. So then you're going to line up with the edge, and then in between those 2 butterflies, like that. So it should work out pretty well. So line up with the bottom, right in between the 2. And then this one, you don't have as much butterfly here, but still line it up with the bottom, and you can kind of remember how much space you had between those 2 wings. And then come over here and do that. And so that is how I created the butterfly wreath. Really not very difficult at all in my mind. But it's nice. The butterfly fits really nicely around that circle, doesn't it? Really cool, huh? All right, so today I thought to be a little different. Let's do a different stamp out of the same stamp set. So we're going to take that same circle. We're going to reuse it. We're going to see, this time I'm going to put this one, my stamp that I'm using is a little smaller. So I'm going to put this maybe 3/4 of an inch, no, 5/8 of an inch from the side, a little bit more than 1/2 inch from the right hand side my circle is. And then it's centered from top to bottom. So I'm going to trace that pencil circle again. I need some sort of guideline, otherwise this would look really bad. So let's take the little pretty rose. Again, I trimmed around the rose, but especially trim around the bottom so you can see where you're stamping. So let's start top, north, those 2 leaves, touching the top, and then south, west, scrap piece of paper, east, and now we'll fill in. It's a rose wreath. And if you're a little bit off of the circle, no worries. It's not like an exact science, and because there's so much going on with the roses, it's going to look good. All right, there it is, little rose wreath. Isn't that cute? All right, so then what did I do next? I colored my roses. So I kept it pretty basic with the rose coloring. 2 colors, light real red and light mossy meadow. So we'll start off with, let's see if I can use the brush tip on the leaves. Probably easier to use the bullet tip. Okay, I'm switching to the bullet tip. Switching to the bullet tip because it's a small area. Okay. And you can go around, I would do like all the leaves first because, you know, you would go crazy if you have to keep switching in between. And I'm going to keep it really simple with the rose. Just use the brush tip and I'm going to follow along the outside of the rose. Just keep following all the way around. because when you have to color a lot of things and you want to go fast, this is what you do. And then I'm just going to use broad brush strokes. I'm holding my pen so it's like on a bit of an angle, so I'm not breaking down that brush tip at all. My neighbor's cat is walking by. Want to see? Oh, there she is. He. She. He. I don't know. Coco? Probably a she. There she is. She always comes walking by during the day. I think she likes our yard better than the neighbor's yard, but it's nice to have little critters coming by in the yard, right? So I would just continue with the rose. Very simple. I just outline and then brush in. I actually didn't do any shading on this because maybe I'm lazy. Maybe because it's such a small rose, I didn't do any shading on this. When you're done, this is what it looks like. Pretty, huh? Okay, we'll set that aside and I'll finish off that card in a moment. But I want to show you how I colored the butterflies in case you like the butterfly card better. So I only put 3 of the Stampin' Blend colors on my supply list, but I actually did use one more color, I realized today. Have you ever done a supply list before? I always forget one supply. It is very hard to do a comprehensive supply list without forgetting something. Like for instance, because the circle wasn't on the card, I almost forgot the layering circles framelits, but I did manage to remember those, even because they're not part of the card, but I used the circle to create my little inside. Anyway, so it's very hard. I try very hard to get them complete, but I usually forget one. So this is the Flirty Flamingo Light. I'll use it first. And I use the brush tip. So for that, I'm just going to brush down the body of the butterfly. Very easy. I wanted to have an easy way to color these because there's a lot of butterflies to color. So I didn't want to go too crazy. Brush tip on the wings, outside tips of the wings with the Highland Heather light. Then I recommend doing the blue next if you're going to do the blue and if you're going to color the way I color, because otherwise you forget or you color the wrong spot. So this is the light balmy blue. And then finally I'm going to come in with the light pineapple punch and just do right here. And I have left some white space on these, but that's how I colored all of them. It's really not hard. It's just a little time consuming. I did all the, like the butterfly bodies. I did all the pink furs, then I did all the purple. So I kind of kept it quick because I didn't keep opening and closing my Stampin' Blends each time. So that will help a little bit when you're coloring if you do that. Okay, so that is how I did the butterfly. Oh, and I just wanted to mention, I did use some of this beautiful Gingham Gala paper that is retiring. It's still available today, but it is retiring on June 3rd, and it's while supplies last. So if it sells out before then, it's just gone. But I wanted to mention that we are getting a new designer series paper in. It will be in all the colors that we have there. It's a multi-pack, so we will be getting some Highland Heather gingham. It is, let me grab my pack so I can show you sizing on it. So right now all we have here is, this is the other set of in colors, but let me pull out the gingham just so you can see. So this is the gingham. This is a new color we have. It's Pretty Peacock. So it's a slightly smaller gingham, okay? And it's not as white on the inside. So it looks like they did like Pretty Peacock and then a lighter color of Pretty Peacock on the inside. So it's not exactly the same, but we do have a gingham type paper that will be available. So if you see this card down the road and you want to recreate it, you can get a multi-pack of the, I need to figure out what color group that is in. Where'd my catalog go? I used to know all the colors in the color groups, and I knew them off by heart. And then they started messing with them and started moving colors into different color groups. And that's when I kind of gave up, and I decided I didn't care what color family they were in, except for when there is a thing like this and they come in a color pack. So Highland Heather is in the subtles. So if you want some purple gingham paper, look in the subtles collection. You'll have some other nice light colors to work with if you want to create something similar to this card a week from now. Okay, that was just my little aside for this card. Now let us do something with this card. So I've got my punch across the room. This is one of the punches I use the most, the triple banner punch. And I've got this little piece of Whisper White that I'm going to cut into a banner. This one is 3 inches by an inch. I'm going to slide it in and give it a little punch. That will be one of my banners. And then I've got a piece of Night of Navy, and this one is 3 3/8 by 3/4 of an inch. This time I'm going to flip this around, stick it all the way down to the bottom right here, and then I just need to make sure it is centered, and then I'm going to punch it. And so that will create my smaller banner. I need to bring my Night of Navy in again, and this time we are going to stamp the Have a Beautiful Birthday greeting. Let's see if I can stamp this straight. Oh, beautiful. That is such a beautiful font. It is just so gorgeous. All right, and then we need a card base. I'm going to use Night of Navy this time. This card base is 11 by 4 1/4 and scored in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. Then I am using, this is a retiring paper, but as I said before, we're going to get new patterns in all the colors. So right now this is in the Neutrals collection, the 6 by 6 pack of paper. You can get that right now. These little dots are very cute, but we do have some cool new patterns coming in. Oops. So you could, if you had navy, this is the wrong color group, but we've got this pattern and this pattern. And then let me grab the corresponding. And we have this pattern and, oh, I grabbed the same one. Come here. Oh, this pattern and this pattern coming up with a script. So there is a way that you could recreate this card with a tone-on-tone paper down the road. Okay, but this one right now, I'm going to just attach the front. It is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the other pattern on the back would look nice too, but I think I like the polka dots a little better. So let me just add this to the front of the card. Scoot that down. And then I'm going to add this piece here. I really like the way the rose wreath turned out. It's kind of cool. And I did stamp it off the edge. Look at that. See, it helps me get out of my comfort zone because I don't like to do that generally. Okay. I feel like it's slightly not straight, but I think it is straight now. Okay, and then we're just going to attach these two together. So I need a little bit of Tombow there. I'm going to just align the edges. have that peek out a little bit on the bottom. And then I want to add that with dimensionals. So let's add the dimensionals. Let's see how the Take Your Pick tool is at removing dimensional backings. I have to switch from my favorite paper piercing tool to the Take Your Pick tool. I'm suffering withdrawal from my paper piercing tool, but look, it did pretty well. So I'll get used to it. You know what I did that made me really happy? I took the putty end off because I wasn't using it. So now it's like a little bit less cumbersome. I just have, you know, this end on, this is the end I use the most. So now it's not so like big and clunky. So that's what I did. But I can always add the other end on anytime I need it. All right, so now I just kind of need to align this. I want a little bit of the roses peeking out there. And make sure it's aligned on the side. There, isn't that pretty? I love those roses. And not that this really matches, these cards don't look good together, but there is the butterfly card too. So that's kind of cool. You can do a ring of butterflies or a ring of roses, and they look very different, but they're still very pretty. So what do you think of that? Oh, and Michelle said she loved how it lined up so well. I know. I thought after I did the butterflies last night, I was like, whoa, they turned out so well. What other images can I do with it? And it just worked out really well. So I love it when things like that happen. Okay, I'm going to scroll back and see if we have any questions. Hello to everyone that's watching. We've got people from Denmark, Ohio. Very cool. I know someone's in Florida. Okay, I didn't have any questions, so I will turn this back around. So I hope you guys join me this week and share your card with me. We've got a sketch going on the Facebook group, so if you have trouble figuring out dimensions, you can go there. If you want to do the same dimensions as me, I don't know if I fudged my dimensions a little bit. Sometimes I change them up a little bit from the original design, but I have all the dimensions on my blog, so that if you want to follow that, and I have my supply list on the blog, and I have a host code this month too, and you can find that in the description of this video. Anyone who spends $75 will be getting the button embossing folder next month from me. Do that. And if you spend at least $15 or over $15 with me, I will send you one of my tutorials. And I've got about 60 paid tutorials that are available. Lots of different 3D designs that are fun to make if you have like a party or need to make a gift. They are great step-by-step instruction tutorials. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a good week, and I'm going to try and be here next Tuesday, but if stuff goes south, I've got house guests. I think my son has a breakfast that morning. If things get a little crazy, I might not be on at my usual time, so I might have to like do some little creative shuffling. But next Tuesday is the start of the new catalog, but not until the afternoon. So if you get on in the morning, you will not be able to order anything. It is an afternoon ordering thing on next Tuesday. All right, guys. Well, I hope, Mary asked, how do I get that catalog? Well, that's a very good question. Mary, if you would send me an email, or I can post afterwards. I will be happy to send you one if you're in the US. If you're not in the US, then I can help you contact someone in your country to get a catalog. But yeah, I just need your mailing address and I will send you one. So you just need to either send me an email or a private message, and don't want you posting your address online where everyone can see it, but we can do that privately if you like. All right, guys, have a great week, and I hope to see you next Tuesday. Bye.